So just making a video. It's like maybe like January 9th, 2013 today. It's been over a week since I've been out of the OSU Psychiatric Hospital, and been putting some weight back on. I'm trying to push towards 190. I am nowhere near, or I definitely don't feel near physically like how I used to be when I just worked out and played basketball all the time and was able to like maintain 205 just like regularly without, trying to push my weight number up. I used to be 220, mostly solid muscle when I was in the Navy back in 2006, but back then I used to eat a lot of food like crazy. I used to always carry around a protein shake every day, and when I didn't have a protein shake, I would always have water with me. I'd constantly be drinking that, and I was on a bunch of GNC like bodybuilding products, and I was on this like stuff. It was from like legalsteroids.com. It was supposed to be like a fake version of like D-ball. Like it might have even said D-ball on the cover, but it wasn't. As far as I know, it wasn't a real like actual steroid. I'm not sure what you would classify it was, but all I remember was it was expensive and it was just a pill, and I was taking it back then when I managed to put on all that weight. But yeah, I'm freaking so skinny and pale right now. I am underneath a white light, so it makes me look more pale than I actually am. But I guess the one positive about losing a lot of weight recently was at least it brought out some definition. I only have like the two top nodes showing of my six pack. I used to have all six would show no problem. Kind of somewhat popping out the middle too. Yeah, just dominant right arm. I can at least do like sets of 20 to 25 push-ups per go round, but and like my chest size has actually increased back up after it shrunk down a lot. Yeah, one problem I've always had is, especially if I lose weight, is my shoulders are so huge and bony. Like back here, I'm not even sure. Like if I worked out all the time, it's just so bony. I don't know how even if I pumped up my muscles so big, I'm not sure if I would ever get rid of this bony look right there on my shoulders. See, it just sticks out so much for my deltoid. I'd have to like really put on a lot of. I'd probably have to put on, I don't know. I'm just so used to having knobby shoulders. I guess I wouldn't know until I got there to see how they would fill in. Sure would take a lot of work because they're so big and knobby. But I weighed myself the other day with just like sweatpants and a t-shirt on, and I was sitting at, said 186, and my appetite has like shot back up. I had dropped back down to like 176, so it's at least good to put 10 pounds back on. I used to be 195 back in my senior year of high school, so way back in 2003. I did run cross country during that time. So you think cross country runner, as a cross country runner, I would have weighed less than I do now, but 10 pounds lighter now just because I literally, I've lost so much muscle mass in my legs. It's really kind of hard to tell. I'm not giving anyone any pictures to go off of. My parents, if I had a cross-country picture, I think my shorts only went down to like right here, and you would have been able to see that my legs were pretty pumped up. Yeah, my legs are a huge reason that I only weigh around 186 right now. That my hair's falling out. No, honestly, it's my legs mostly, because this house really isn't, it's not like super huge. It doesn't take much effort to walk around, but right now I have trouble just walking around the house 3 different laps at a pretty slow pace, without feeling like I'm woozy or dizzy or gonna faint or have like some form of anxiety attack. I am still currently tapering down off of diazepam/Valium, and the other day I made it down to 8 milligrams. That's what I'm on now. My brain is definitely sped back up. If I can manage to make it down to 0, it's going to be interesting to see how much more I come back to life, because even 8 milligrams a day, even though you're dropping your dose, stuff actually builds up like all around inside your body. It even builds up inside your bones, which I didn't know before. So even once you get off the stuff, like the benzodiazepine class of meds, the like parts of it hang around, deep inside your body, and could possibly be there the rest of your life. And it's not just that they hang around. It's if anyone knows about benzodiazepines, they're called that because there's receptors in your body that are called, they were given the name benzodiazepine receptors, and those receptors get kind of blocked off by the medication, or they get like deadened, or they become mostly inactive even after you stop the medication. So these medications, simply for that reason, can mess up your life, because those receptors control the GABA function in your brain and central nervous system, which is responsible for the natural calming effect in your body. So if your body's used to taking the medication for the calming effect, and then you take the medication away, and then your receptors get messed up and don't all come back properly like they were before you started the medication, then you're gonna have high anxiety and a hyperactive nervous system, and it's possibly that you're gonna be worse off than before you started the medication. it is known, it was known back in the 1980s, before I was even born, that these class of meds do cause actual brain damage. So something I just gotta accept and live with. We'll see how much it damages my brain. I definitely notice problems now. I remember growing up, when I was in like my late teens, early 20s, my mom used to accuse me of having ADD, and I used to be a lot different than I am now. I used to be almost not obsessive, but I used to always feel like I was the one that was aware of what was going around, and I always paid attention to people's, habits and what they said, what they did. Like if someone ever like contradicted themselves, I would always, I always had a good memory, and I would be able to like, point certain things out to someone. It seemed like I was always, the one noticing that everyone else seemed to have like ADD, and that I was the one that, was the complete opposite of, having that issue. And like, no offense, but it just seemed like I was, knew what was going on around me more than everyone else. So like anytime I ever got accused of having that, I'd just be like, "Are you crazy?" And yeah, in a way I used to be like a perfectionist to an extent. At least as far as my memory went. Now that I've been on these medications, and especially since I switched over to Valium from Klonopin, and the only reason I switched over is because of the fact that Valium is the recommended taper benzo, because it comes in smaller increments and has a longer half-life, so you're supposed to have less withdrawal effects. But that's a whole nother video. Could talk about the difference in withdrawal effects I experienced when dropping huge increments of Klonopin compared to smaller increments of Valium. But yeah, now my short-term memory and my long-term memory have been shot, especially after my recent OSU Psychiatric Hospital stay. It's getting better every day, but it's still pretty messed up. There'll be like things that I should be able to remember, and it should like come back to me like that sometimes take all day to come back to me, or sometimes I'll just have to forget it and move on. So, huge part of my problem is just the long-term withdrawal effects of the benzo medications, and then there's just like a side effect within itself from that. It's just like depression, and the fact that I always feel like I'm going to faint and pass out stops me from getting out, so I really don't socialize with people. My 2 government phones that I have, like before I went to the hospital, I was just alone in my apartment a lot. I didn't have TV, internet. All I had was my computer, and if I was able to make it to the library, I'd be able to get like 5 movies at a time. Toby, the black dog, like I can make a noise and he'll, even after all these years, he's so old now, I can't remember how old he is in actual years he's been alive, but I just remember it converted to like 64 years or something like that. But I was just standing on top of the treadmill and he started barking like he thought he heard a noise outside. He does it all the friggin' time. Oh yeah, and then he has this huge problem where if like they have electronic garage here, and if the garage is opening after all these years, he hasn't learned that 999,999 times out of a million that if the garage door is opening, it's going to be someone that lives here and that he normally wouldn't bark at. But every time the garage door opens, or any time that door there leading into the garage opens, he barks like crazy, like it's an intruder. And it's just silly how you can't recognize that it's just his family coming home, and that the better thing to do would be, if there was an intruder coming in, that he should probably keep quiet. I don't know. I'm sure it's just what he's used to doing. On the rare chance there was an intruder, maybe he'll start barking like crazy as a desperate attempt to scare him away. I'm sure if someone actually broke in, they would be prepared and would not be scared of a tiny dog. And Maggie's injured. She's had her front right and front back legs broken, and her back right leg is never gonna be healed properly. And she's a nervous train wreck herself. She likes to play, but like if people come over, she gets nervous. Or if we go outside, and if she just hears a car go by off over the hill there, back whereby she got hit, or just anywhere really, she gets she'll get nervous, and then sometimes just from a truck or car going by, she'll be like right out here in the yard, but she'll hear it and she'll get nervous, and sometimes she'll come to the door wanting back inside. But back to where I started. I didn't realize until the other day how bad balding on top of my head got, and this bright white light above me is gonna make it seem worse than it actually is. Just I didn't realize back in here how much baldness I'd got. I know that it's easier to see now from the camera angle than just looking in the mirror, but I of course knew that way back in high school I remember when I just had a receding hairline problem back here, and I was just and then for a while I had, whatever hairline I have right here, it went back. But now I have a huge bald spot back there, so way better off just buzzing my hair and trim my eyebrows, because of course when I buzz my hair, my eyebrows are gonna stand out way even more. But I haven't made a video on my iPhone for seems like a month now. But ears open, I can throw some weight back on.